This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, now we're legal. Start the meeting, call to order, 7:03. Normally we do the pledge, can't do that with the virtual thing. So the first order of business is public comment. Do we have any public comment? Okay. So the next thing is department head reports. So Robin?
Yes.
All right.
All right. Oh. Hey, I was getting there. I don't really know how many calls to tell you. We've got the old ambulance 3-1 is now on a tow truck, but it is not on its way down to Jersey yet. The guy that picked it up has changed his insurance company, and because he changed his insurance company, the stuff that he needed to be able to go out of state was not transferred. So he'll have that by the end of this week, and then he will be taking it down. And let me see. We had one boo-boo this week with a patient in the back, unfortunately. One of the tires picked up a nut and washer, considerably large, and the tire went flat on 434. Luckily, right across the street from a dealer that could change the tire. But we did have to transfer the patient to Campbell's rig. But that was done rather quickly, so we were right back in service quickly. So as for the loaner, they're not going to issue the loaner, of course, until they actually get the ambulance down there. They're looking to locate one that's going to be usable for what we need it for. So as soon as they get what they need, then we'll get that up here and get the process started for the loaner. Other than that, I really don't have anything.
What about the one that's down there being repaired? It should be pretty close, right?
Be either ready Wednesday or Friday. And as soon as that gets back, it's got to get inspected before we can actually technically put it in service. So as soon as we know what day we're picking it up, we'll set it up and get it inspected.
All right, cool.
Robin, the one that's going down on the tow truck, can that tow truck pick up the one that's coming back for the reverse trip?
What? Oh, you mean the loaner? The one that's down
they're going to drive back a loaner? All right.
They'll drive it to us, the loaner. We don't have to pick that up. That'll be brought to us.
Don't we have a ambulance down there getting repaired?
We do, and it'll be done Wednesday or Friday. It'll be back.
Yeah, that one's only
But
in.
It's not in New Jersey.
Okay.
Right, it's only in Halstead, PA.
All right.
Yeah, it's in Halstead, only a few minutes away. And like we said, it's going to be. And we'll get that back. We have to get it inspected back on the road.
Okay, thank you.
It can't be inspected down there, Laura, because it's they're Pennsylvania and it's a New York State inspection. In case you're wondering.
All right. Anything else, Robin?
Nope.
All right. Well, we don't have any other department heads on. Does anybody have any updates? Rusty? Got anything from Chief?
Nothing from the chief.
Yeah, they just called me and talked to me, nothing really. We got reports from Jeff. We got a report from Tracy, didn't we? Yeah. I don't see them on, so I assume they don't need anything else. Well, hang on, Fran's calling me. Hold on one second. Hello? Hey. So if you go to our website, yep, under Village News, it's like right on the front page. You have to click See All. And then there's an article that says virtual board meetings, and it has the link there. Yep. You see when they're called virtual board meetings? Well, here, you want me to just put you on speakerphone? All right. 1 second. All right, we got Fran on the phone. She can join us.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
All right. So we're talking about, oh, department head reports.
Anything else?
I don't think we have any other reports, do we?
I have one thing that I'd like to have you guys do.
Okay.
Make a motion to, we have to advertise for the election coming up in March, is 16th. And for the 3 positions, it'll be Rusty, Ron, and Lawrence. So if somebody makes a motion, I'll make sure it gets in the paper and advertise.
So moved.
All right, Rusty made a motion.
Advertise next year's election.
I'll second.
Oh, no, Laura's got that.
All right, so let's vote on that. We'll do Fran.
Yes.
Okay. Charles? Charles?
Oh, yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
And yes. Okay, anything else?
That's
Okay, departments. Anything?
No, anything. You have anything with fire chief or anything?
Nothing from the fire chief, nothing from the police chief.
Okay.
Written from DPW and written from sewer.
Yep. So the next thing is the solar bid award. So we had one proposal from Delaware River, but they actually retracted the proposal. Oh, Fran, I see you're on there. Hang on, I'll hang up with you here.
Yeah, here I am.
Okay. So anyway, we had a bid from Delaware River Solar, but they called Friday and retracted it because the solar farm is full. And they had 7 other projects they're working on with NYSEG. And because of the coronavirus, they've been on hold since last year sometime. So they didn't want to sign us up and have us waiting forever to actually get the discounts. So I know Nate said earlier there might be some other options to look into there. So anyway, we'll look into that. Next thing is Halloween. We put this on here just because everybody's calling the clerk's office asking what we're gonna do for Halloween. So throwing it out to everybody. My theory is we follow whatever the state's guideline is, but maybe there's a safer option. I don't know.
I did bring up that idea about the trunk or treat. I don't know how fast we could throw that together. And if we have to have permission to use the parking lot of the high school, like the first year when we had the flood, that was a great start.
We have to figure out if that's safer or not, because then you're drawing a bunch of people to one place.
Right.
I mean, it could be safer if you police it, right? And everybody's spread out, but I don't know
Yeah.
who would do that.
Cars
Police it.
I would imagine the cars would be spread out and they would be in the groups of their own family. And there'll be one way through. The people won't be passing each other. And
Yeah.
one lane will go through and then up the other lane to go out, depending on how many cars participate. Depends on how many lanes we have in the parking lot. be used at a time. I'm just thinking it's all in my head. And then if we have people to donate candy, like we did before, that'll be awesome. I just can't see all the children going door to door and having the problem of people handing them candy, and it's just too much.
How close is the person that can give it to?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who has it out? How close is it?
Or we could just have everybody go to Confection Connection and have Ron stand out there and hand out.
We'll get a little shoot.
Just launch that.
Yeah. Like the feed. Yeah, you're good.
Charles,
Yeah.
one of the thoughts that we were talking about earlier today is that if something like this is gonna get put together, one of the nonprofits needs to put this together.
Okay.
I'm just saying, one of the service clubs, one of the nonprofits, that would be who would put something like the fair did, or this with food and something like that.
Right.
It could work like that, like with a drive-through thing. I don't know how a walk-through thing would work as far as keeping the people separated. Drive-through thing, you only get so close before you smash your car into the next car.
Well, yeah, yeah. And then the kids can't show off their costumes.
Yeah,
So the whole idea of the drive-through thing
I want to try to keep it as traditional as possible, but safe.
it's definitely a challenge.
It's on a Saturday.
It is. It's on a Saturday, which is like a prime day for trick or treating. Finally,
Yeah.
It's like a Wednesday.
yeah, instead of a Wednesday. Hopefully, it's not pouring rain and hurricane.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyone's, it's on our
Hey,
radar.
guys, I can pull out.
Okay. Have a good night,
Okay,
Robin.
bye.
Night.
Yeah. I don't care. Just sit out there.
Yeah,
I don't care idea. Wait to see what the state says.
yeah. Hopefully,
So-
that's not too late at that point. to organize
Guys,
something.
traditionally, the only thing that we do is have the police or the firemen check people's candy bags.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing we've ever done in the past. So are we considering doing that or not, maybe? And then people can do whatever they do on their own and decide for themselves what they're going to do for Halloween.
Yeah, I know.
I would agree with Laura on that.
Company threes did ask if it was okay if they check candy.
Even that has its own safety worries.
I said if they want to, they can. I mean, you know.
Well, they're under our insurance, so we need to make sure that we are comfortable with that.
I mean, I think it's fine as long as they do it safely, you know.
You got a bag of candy that's been at 200 houses. That's
True.
it. I mean,
Yes.
COVID doesn't travel easily on things, but it does.
I think the thing that we probably need to keep in mind is that the county Department of Health is going to put out some recommendations, and maybe we can lean on them to say, hey, is there a safe way of doing this that you can think of that you would give us as recommended best practices? Because you want to stay within the constraints the Department of Health gives you. If the DOH says this is a bad idea, then we shouldn't do it. Even if people want to do it, I don't think that we should be encouraging it at that point. I think, Laura, you're right. If they want to do it, if people want to do it on their own as private citizens without any control by the village, you know, and it's company three, but not company three, it's them all choosing individually, and that'd be okay. But again, I would just say, reach out to the Department of Health, whoever it is on the village's side that might be coordinating this to get the recommended best practices.
Now we can reach out to them as far as checking candy and that kind of thing.
I don't mind if people send in photos of their kids in costumes and we can put a Halloween basket together for some winners or something of a contest. So that way it's all virtual and nobody's touching anything, that would be all right.
That would be a cool idea.
Somebody would
Yeah.
have to set that up.
Don't have the time for that, Laura.
Yeah, not me.
That would be a neat idea, though. I don't know. Anyway, more to come on that, I'm sure.
That's why I said a nonprofit or somebody that does those kinds of things would need to take the lead on something like that.
We'll reach out to the county and see what they're thinking, see what the state's thinking, and all that good stuff.
I guess you'll be probably doing that.
It's kind of, yeah, I will. It's kind of up to people what they want to do with their own, exposure level.
That's gonna be an individual choice for people barring whatever the state won't let you do.
Right. If the county or the state has some great idea, like drive through or whatever, we'll see what happens. But I don't.
But that question will come up in the coming week because the community is going to want to know.
Yeah, I know we got to figure that out and get it. If there's any organization there, get it organized.
Have any ideas, Brian?
No, I agree with Nate. I think we should check with what the County Board of Health has to say first and go with their guidelines.
Yeah, no, I'll check into that and I'll get a email chain going here, and we'll figure out, where to go from there. Anybody else? Anything else on Halloween?
We'll talk about it on the 19th.
Yep. We'll have a better update for sure. Payment of bills is the next thing. Everybody get them in their email.
Yep.
Anybody have questions?
As usual, Mayor, you went through them and you're satisfied?
Yeah, as usual.
Will we
I'll
pay
make
the
a
bill?
motion to accept them.
Charles, I guess seconds it.
Second.
All right, any discussion on it? Should we vote? Charles,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Ed?
Up and down.
Fran,
Yes,
Rusty,
Yes.
and yes. Cross that off, moving right along. Minutes, we got two sets of minutes. 9/21/2020, they both come from there, the regular meeting and the annual meeting.
Hey, minute expert Laura, have you looked at those?
I did. My name is spelled wrong in the annual minutes. So that's the only thing that I noticed, and I would motion to approve those minutes with my name corrected.
All right.
How do you spell that?
I'll second that.
Easy boy, E-R-L-Y.
I'll second that and say we throw those minutes right in the trash.
Rusty and Lori.
This is, which one is it we're approving this time? We do them one
That
at
was
a
for
time.
the annual meeting.
That's the annual.
Okay, annual meeting. Any other comments on the annual meeting ones? It looks okay. I didn't catch Laura's name. So. All right. Charles,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Evan.
Fran,
yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
and yes.
How about the other one, Laura?
They were great. I motion to approve those as presented, as submitted.
Second.
Okay, any other comments on the regular meeting portion of the same night? Charles,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes,
Rusty,
Yes.
and yes.
Guys, on the annual meeting minutes, we left the acting village justice blank because we didn't have the person's name. Do you have it now?
No, and Nate, there was some little hiccup with that of the law being filed, right, Lee?
It's supposed to happen in 20 days.
Yeah, Rod's office, I'm assuming, has sent the local laws in for filing. You're supposed to file them within 20 days of the passing of local law. And technically, none of the local laws are ever enforceable or active in effect until they're filed with the state.
Yeah, they're filed.
So are they filed when Rod sends them in and they receive it?
Usually they send a confirmation that they were received and filed, but of course, between whenever we send them in and then whenever you get the confirmation back, at some point they're filed in between. It's if Rod has sent them in, and Rod, if it was a week or two ago, you're probably good enough at this point to just move forward like we talked about previously.
One thing to move forward, we need to set the compensation.
It was recommended by the mayor just talked about compensation. It was recommended by the standard compensation for that, $2,500, and I'm going to move that we per year. And all, of course, we got rid of the rest of the compensation in the village charter. And I'm going to move that we set the compensation for this social justice from us for $2,600 a year.
Set an even number or something?
That's $50 a week. $2,600 a year. That's my move.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Well, that's what was recommended to us. Let's see, Charles,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
and yes.
Hey, thanks for voting for my OCD even number.
Remember who he wanted as Chief Justice.
None of us can remember his name right now. We all know it, but we can't remember it.
So we will do that next meeting, I guess. 19th. We will make sure we close that up.
Anybody got Dave's number?
I don't. All right, we're gonna try and give him a call and see if we can get the name. So we can do it later in the meeting here. Next thing is communications. I don't have a ton of communications. We got a press release today, actually, from the town that their highway department is shut down for 2 weeks. They have a coronavirus case. They all have to quarantine. Jeff asked me if we could help them out during an emergency situation. And I said, yeah, I'm sure we can. So anyway, if you see our trucks out of town, that's why. But only supposed to call us if it's like, a tree comes down on wires or something like that.
Yeah, our phone number is, or the 687-1010 number is already up on the internet as the emergency number.
Yeah, that's the sheriff's department, so.
Those 2 local laws are on file with the state, so they are in effect now.
Okay. I had something else for communications. I never forgot that. Oh, well, we're doing the Real Men. I'm doing the Real Men Wear Pink thing again for breast cancer, and yep, Charles is flashing his pink. And we don't want to see that, Rusty. And October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so that's purple if you want to support that. Both are good causes. Other than that, Orange Month. Orange Month, that's Syracuse Month.
Real men wear orange month.
Other than that, I think that's all the communication type stuff. The health department keeps putting out stuff. Their message to us is if we can help share that message, that's a good thing, because obviously right now there's a spike in active cases. Kind of in Tioga County and around Owego, if you see the press releases, there's a lot of places on the list, so. Anyway. Next thing is trustee reports. Charles, you got anything? Oh, Laura?
There was a couple things that got sent, the resolutions for the health insurance consortium. There's 2 resolutions for us tonight.
Yes, that is true. You have them there? I know Cindy sent them and printed them out, but. They came in after the agenda was written, so that's a good catch. Yes. Yeah, so these are, we update on that as we got accepted into the consortium, and these are resolutions that we have to pass in order to accept our acceptance into it, I guess. Unless you want, let's do it tonight. Nate, did you get these?
Yeah, I did get those and I didn't have really any issue with them.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it out loud?
I mean, it's pretty long.
The 900 pages?
Well,
Somebody could just say as presented.
all right. I will motion to approve the resolution entitled approving 2021 amended municipal cooperative agreement for the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium document as presented.
I'll second that.
I think Ron won that one.
Okay.
All right, does anybody have any comments on the resolution? Basically, they accepted us into the consortium. So it's going to save us a bunch of money, while providing very similar coverage to what we have today, so, for the employees. Good news. So should we vote on that? Charles?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Rusty?
Haven't read it, abstain.
Okay. And yes. All right, did I forget anything else, Laura? No.
Yeah, there's another one. There's a second resolution, and we have to pick 2 directors, a director and an alternate director, like as representatives.
As representatives to their, so the way this works is it's everybody gets representation on their board. So we have to pick 2 people, a primary and an alternate, to go on to their, they can go to their annual meetings and.
All 40 of them?
All 40 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody on that list has a
That's 2 reps.
primary and an alternate. So
So
one person goes
rep
from
and
each
then, okay.
play of those places.
So who are the pool of names that we can select from for this?
Didn't have to be a village board member, did it? Or does it?
No, it could be, I
Cindy
think it
or-
could be Cindy or Kim.
Who's one we like?
They're not gonna want to do it.
Yeah, they won't go to those meetings. It's probably gonna have to be one of us.
Oh, I would recommend Rod.
I respect pretty big.
Yeah.
Our
Anybody
first
wanna go
treasurer.
through, insurance meetings? Anybody really into health insurance?
Are we gonna go to the Sagamore for this?
I don't know where they have it. They didn't give me those details. I don't know if there's a free meal in it for more or not.
Laura, you have any desire to do it?
No.
I got a bad feeling nobody on the board's gonna want to do this.
I can do it. Okay.
Yay. All right. So Mike will be the director, and then who's the alternate? Can that be somebody in the office?
In case I get the COVID.
Yeah. Is it okay if Cindy or Kim is the person because they already do this work?
Well, I would think,
We have to ask them.
yeah, we'd have to ask them, but Cindy, although she wanted us to pass this tonight,
Cindy did?
yeah. Cindy does all of our benefits stuff, so she would be my pick, I guess I would say.
Put her as your alternate.
Do they have to
You can
know?
always
Do they have to
change
know
the
this
alternate,
immediately?
Just put her as your alternate. You can always change.
We'll put Cindy, and if she declines, then we'll find somebody else and do a change to it.
So can
Okay.
this be a fair appointment, or does this have?
So,
It's in the
so I
resolution.
was gonna just say, just so everyone's clear, the person who's appointed to be the representative, the person who's the representative has to have authority to vote on any official action taken by the consortium as a group. And so you would be designating this person with some specific authority and the ability to make decisions for the village through the consortium. And so I just want you to think about that prior to finalizing your decision. I mean, I would say no issues at all with one of the trustees doing it, but I could see Cindy or Kim saying, yeah, not really comfortable doing that.
Right.
Ed, how about you?
Okay,
Are you gonna be my alternate in case I get COVID or anything like that?
sure.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Happy to do it.
You gotta vote on it.
All right.
So
Need a motion.
we need a motion.
Need-
Move that Mayor Barretta be the representative and Ed Morton be the alternate representative.
And we passed the motion or the resolution. Right.
Was this in the resolution?
Okay.
Who second that?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second.
It's the resolution designating representatives to the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium Board of Directors.
Yeah.
That I-
Yeah, it's its own resolution. Yeah. All right. So we have a motion and a second to appoint me and Ed. Any discussion on that? Sounds like a fun time, health insurance. Charles,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes,
Laura,
Yes.
Ed,
yes,
Fran,
Yes,
Rusty,
Oh, yes.
and yes. All right. I think that was all the health insurance consortium resolutions, right, Laura?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Rusty?
Since the appointment of the associate justice is your appointment, you can appoint that person anytime. Does it have to be in a meeting?
It's a
Nate, does that have to be in a meeting if the mayor makes an appointment?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the meeting is only held for purposes of board action, really.
So the mayor can get the name of the person from Dave, and if he's comfortable, he can appoint that.
Okay.
And you'll let us know for our.
Yeah, we'll close that up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's all we put on the agenda. So now we're on the trustee report. Charles? Yeah.
Is Jeff on?
No, he is not.
Okay. Well, I could go over his activity report if you like. He had stated that he cleaned pavilions at the park for our village employee picnic, sweeper repairs, hauled dirt fill from DPW. He took skid steer to Mill Street for town of Nichols. He picked up safe Endicott PD and delivered to OPD. Installed drainage pipe in Evergreen Cemetery. Repairs to the mini excavator. Put up no parking signs behind dumpster on Central Ave. For Evergreen property maintenance, ongoing. Lawn waste pickup and chipping of brush, ongoing. I know because he picked up mine. Measure DSNY cutouts, ongoing. Repair DPW equipment. Pothole patching, ongoing. Cleaning drains. Planning and zoning meetings scheduled and OHPC meetings scheduled. Scott, our code enforcement, he is still from the last 2 weeks training online to get his certificate. So as soon as that is obtained, he will be off and running to do our village code enforcement stuff. And that's all I have to report for this week.
All right. Thanks, Charles. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Can you pass on to Jeff? Thank you for me. I borrowed his truck for the village cleanup. Help people haul garbage.
I sure will.
All right.
That was a good turnout. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, I was surprised.
To clean up. I actually headed out to Cortland after you guys are finished, and I had this black Lamborghini following me all the way to Cortland, and then I realized it was Weissman.
Yep.
Who was
around with the dumpsters.
I messaged him later on and told him that was me holding him up. It's like he wanted to pass me so many times.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Anything else?
That's it. That's all I got.
Rob, you got anything?
Yeah, I had a resident approach me, wanted to know if we'd be interested in creating a position for somebody to look in the flood issues that we have to get us certified or raise our rate or like our point system.
CRS. CRS?
Yes.
They call it.
And I told her I would bring it up in the meeting. She was talking about possibly being on like a retainer for hourly until the rates drop and maybe get paid a percentage of whatever the village saves in flood insurance.
Yeah, was this Julie?
I told her I didn't know what the budget is. Yeah, she came into my shop the other day and asked me about it. I told her I would bring it up at the meeting. I mean, I know as a homeowner, my insurance went up $500 this year. I mean, I'm sure a lot of residents would be willing to pay for something like this if they could have results. But I just told her that I would bring it up.
This is something we have to talk to Jeff about. I know he's looked into this a couple of times. And she would essentially, if we did pay her, come out of his budget somewhere, so.
Yeah, I told her I didn't know where the money would come from.
We're certainly interested in.
She is very invested.
Ron, we're certainly interested in that program. I know Kevin Millard worked on it for a long, long time. We're interested, but we hadn't considered making such a thing a paid position. That's something we would need to probably be thinking about before we did that.
Well,
yeah, and that's the point of this conversation.
Yeah.
We need to talk to Jeff to figure out, because so this CRS is it's basically the federal government, but they have a whole bunch of questions for us that we know of about documentation that we need to make sure that we can answer their questions before we really spend a bunch of money on it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I didn't expect something to be done today, but just a conversation to be started.
Yeah.
So at the last meeting, we talked about this with Jeff, and he was going to start looking through the items on that list of the properties, getting those, addressing the issues that were on those. So it was pulling records and submitting them for building repairs that were completed, and the state wants the documents showing that, you know, they went through the proper procedures, through zoning and planning boards and getting their specs from the, their building permit stuff. And so it's just some paperwork for some of it, and maybe addressing some things that are in the floodplain that need to be done by the property owners under our watch. And then we can be considered for the program again. And so with, it's sort of, Jeff said something that he's already tried this process a few times. And it looks like it's big. And so that's why it would be good for us to have an advocate. And I know that Julie's been going through some of those online virtual meetings already. And she's sent us, I know Mike and I, that she's sent us some info from those meetings, showing where we are, or other villages are on there, and how we could do stuff. But the village itself on our insurance could save, and then through the homeowners, somebody walking them through how they get their base flood measurement, and then submitting that into the state, so that they can get their flood insurance lowered for the future. Like it's a little bit of money from the start, and then you save a lot of money after that, depending on your situation. And so she is offering to be that person that would coach people through that. So it would be really good for us to have, for our community members and ourselves, to have somebody professional and with the time to do that for us. So I'm in favor of it.
Yeah, I like the idea if we can get into the program. I know we can save a lot of money, save everybody a lot of money. It's a lot of paperwork to get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
Oregon time, because Kevin worked on it for years.
Right.
So when you're thinking about hiring somebody, it's like for 10 minutes, it would be for a year.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather have stuff.
Right.
No hourly.
It's like a retainer kind of thing.
So much.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear us chatter around in the room here, but we're just kind of running it around here. I have I'm sorry, this is just my quick opinion. This is something we need to spend a tiny bit of time on rather than right now. Let's do it a second on a virtual meeting without much of any thought or discussion. Certainly something to look at strongly.
Well, the point wasn't to have a vote tonight, but to get the conversation going and to actually move on this, because there's a lot of people affected that would definitely benefit.
Sure.
Right. And another thing I saw on Facebook is one of the fire department members, I guess, complaining on the Facebook about low-hanging trees in Marvin Park. I just asked if that wouldn't be the first place they go, that they would contact DPW or one of us, rather than diminish the village in a public forum.
Yeah, I agree. I don't understand that either. I did pass the message on to Jeff.
What were they fussing about?
One of the fire department members put on Facebook how you can't drive the fire truck around Marvin Park without hitting the lights on the trees. I don't understand why they wouldn't just ask us to trim the trees, well, whatever.
Well, fire department members ought to be wise enough to take it to their fire department leadership.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I did pass that message on to Jeff to go trim the trees up.
Tomorrow's fire board night. If I remember, I'll say something to the fire chief about it.
I mean, it just doesn't show a good continuity throughout the village if we're bashing each other.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook is not the right place.
Absolutely not, Fran. I agree. And the other thing is, I notice a lot of one-way streets, people going the wrong way, and just keep a heads out for that, because there's a lot of kids in the streets. I've been lucky enough to paint my house, and a couple hours a day, I see at least 3 or 4 people on my street doing it. So just keep an eye out for that.
do we need like better signage or something? I don't know.
No, the signage is there. I think people are just being very pointful about going the wrong way.
They're just lazy and don't want to go around. I know the
Well,
streets you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I witnessed almost a head-on collision, and the woman was like flipping off the guy who was doing the right thing. So, I mean, eventually somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got.
All right. We'll pass that one-way message on to Joe too. See what he can do about that. 8th Street. Yeah, he's probably against people going the wrong way. You're right. All right. Anything else? You good? Laura?
OHPC met virtually, and I wasn't able to attend that, but I did look over and see that a project is a DRI project was approved, so that's going through. That was a Front Street project, so that's nice that things are starting finally. So that's all for that. The policeman's negotiation, the PBA negotiation, did that date get moved? Is there a new date?
Yeah, we're pushed back now to sometime in November, I think the second Wednesday.
Okay.
Not Wednesday.
Was it not a Wednesday?
Not a
Going off
Wednesday.
of memory.
It'll be over before here.
Oh, Marilyn asked for sometime starting the week of November 16th. So we don't yet have a final date for that yet.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I can try and coordinate that with you guys.
Okay. I'm gonna cancel the rooms I reserved for that then.
Yeah, good plan. See if they have any the week of November 16th.
Tuesday or Thursday or Sunday.
That's all I have, guys.
Okay. Thanks. Ed, you got anything?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
All right.
You will after those 40 meetings with the consortium.
Yeah, insurance stuff, maybe.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Fran?
Yeah, the Evergreen Cemetery Committee, they would like to nominate Alicia Saratani for a membership.
Okay.
We're down, the cemetery committee is down to 3 members, so
We approve.
she has agreed to that position.
We approve
That's-
members on the committee, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, the
Been a while
board
since
does.
we had that.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Alicia is Candy's daughter.
Okay, I appoint her to that position. Do we need a motion or a vote on that?
I'll second that.
No, Liz the guy on the committee.
Oh, sounds good to me.
Alicia Saratini.
Alicia Saratini.
Yeah, that's right.
She's good to go right now. We don't need a vote on that, do we?
The rules got changed because it's a committee now and not a commission. And there was a couple of requirements about people, like, you had to have a historian, you had to have somebody interested in, different tracks of life. Does the person need to be a village resident?
Commission.
Yeah. she is a
I'm
village
vaguely
resident.
recalling when the commission was created, there was some rules that outlined all that, right?
Yeah.
That's my recollection. I know it was before me, but that's what I'm recalling.
Yeah,
Well,
well, it's
the
a committee now.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
not a
committee
commission.
now, not a commission.
Committee, right?
Committee less formal, shouldn't have to have any kind of,
Okay, well, then she's a new member.
He's in.
Okay, last board meeting, talked about, the trees, dead trees up in the cemetery. That, Tri-County Tree Service, Tony, works for the village all the time, he gave us a price of, for 12 to 15 trees of $10,000. That included, renting a forklift for $2,500. And at that time, Rod had said he has the money available. What the question was is you wanted a second bid, excuse me, a second bid because it's over $5,000.
3 bids.
Excuse me?
It was 3 bids.
Laura says that it was supposed to be 3 bids, not 2. That's what Laura's saying.
Yeah, that's how our procurement process is.
Okay. Well, we contacted Budget Tree Services of North Valley, and that's a bigger job than they can handle. And we contacted Southern Tier Landscape and Excavating, and they said they're not taking on any jobs at the moment. So right now, the only bid we have is with the Tri-County Tree Services of North Valley.
Okay, does that satisfy the requirement?
If we went out to bid for it, like formally, posted a bid notice and, this is what we got back on the date, then that would be, I think, adequate.
Well, we're getting down to the wire here. It's done this fall. Nobody told me 2 weeks ago that I had to be put in the newspaper. You told us to get more bids.
And Fran, maybe that was just a misunderstanding, or when we say a bid means public newspaper posting, formal advertisement, notice to bidders. Please return your bid package or offer for pricing and a quote, this day, this time. It's not anything that's overly complicated. It's just doing it. And I don't recall exactly our discussion last time.
Another 2 to 4 weeks before we get around to this. Okay, well, put something in the newspaper.
We can go out to bid and have the bids back within 5 days, or at least 5 days is the minimum period of time. I mean, it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. It can be 5 days.
Fran, can you hear me?
Yes.
If you just contact Jeff, he does this process a lot. He's already got a list of people he contacts for tree jobs, and he could do this as part of his job. If you just ask him to send the bids
it's up to
out.
the board. I mean, I was told 2 weeks ago that we needed to get more bids. This Tri-County Tree Service is the one that Jeff uses all the time to take down trees in the village. I mean, they have their insurance records on file with the village and all that good stuff.
I guess I'm now remembering this a little more. And didn't we kind of figure out that the price on this is going to be less than the bidding threshold, right? And that's why it was just like, go out and get some additional quotes, I think. Is that right?
I think that was true.
And so if, Fran, what is the number that they've quoted to you?
$10,000.
Right, so that's well below the threshold.
Dead trees up in the cemetery.
I think based on now that I'm recalling this a little more, based on what Fran has done, which is what we'd asked in the last meeting, go out, get some other quotes. We're well below the threshold for competitively bidding this at all. it seems like it's probably satisfied.
Okay. So,
Okay, so,
Yeah.
yeah, if the board approves, I'll make sure that, Tri-County Tree Service gets the, formal, written bid to the DPW.
so are you making a motion to accept their bid?
I'm
Fran?
making a motion to hire Tri-County Tree Services to remove the dead trees in the cemetery, between 12, 15 trees, and that includes renting, equipment that Tri-County needs in order to get into some of the trees.
What was that bid again? I'm sorry, guys. What was that bid again?
$10,000.
Where's the
Okay,
money?
that's below our,
20,000 is the number that we have to go out to bid for.
right.
We were, to answer Laura's question, Rod was just saying we're gonna use, some money we had left over from the end of the year last year.
Okay.
We don't take it out of anybody's budget.
Right. We'll put it in Jeff's search.
All right,
Right,
I'll
it's
second
through the
that then.
Department of Public Works.
Okay, Ed second.
So Fran, Fran in
Yes.
discussion, they're going to take those trees down and everything, clean up after them, get the wood out, it's gonna be all
Yes,
those
they'll
things.
remove the trees completely. They'll chip them and take them out of the cemetery. The only thing is, we're gonna leave some stumps because you need to keep those roots in the ground on those hillsides.
Okay,
I know it sounds stupid and specific, but yeah, we want the stumps, but we don't want them up 6 feet high. We want them right down there. So it doesn't look like a forest. Okay.
Right. Okay. Understandable.
all right. Any other discussions, questions for Fran? All right, we'll vote. Ron?
Yes.
Sorry, Charles, you're supposed to go first.
Yes.
Well, we do look identical.
Same haircut. Same haircut.
Laura?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
And yes.
Okay, I'll make sure that, Tony gets working with Jeff on that.
Okay, good plan.
Thank you. That's all I needed for tonight.
Okay. So Charles, you already went, right? Yeah, you went.
Yeah. Could you, Mr. Mayor, could you, go over this email you sent about the Public Works Training School? What does that entail?
Oh, yeah, it's a NICOM training. I sent it to you and Ron and Jeff and Tracy. If you look through the agenda, they have all kinds of courses about public works, water plants, road crews, sewage plants, that kind of thing. It's virtual through Zoom, so if you guys want to do it, just get a hold of Cindy and she'll sign you up.
Okay, thank you.
Rusty?
I know there's rampant disappointment in the land. I have nothing.
Jeez, wow.
Uh,
All right. The next thing is the mayor's report.
Did Ed have a chance on this?
Yeah, it's a no report. Next thing is the mayor's report. Did all of our good stuff. Posted the previous video. We signed the contract with VCI to remount the ambulance. Met with Tracy and Ron on some phase 2 construction issues. Net of that story is it may start up a week or two later than we thought. So, no impact cost-wise yet to us, but maybe time-wise. We'll see how that goes. I helped organize and volunteer at the Village Cleanup Day, sponsored by Weitzman's and Upstate Shredding, so big thank you to them. We saw the dumpsters around town, they provided them and paid for them and hauled them away and brought them and everything. So that was a great job. They filled up really fast. I was surprised. We opened the doors and like in 2 hours they were full. So I wasn't expecting that.
Maybe you should put a thank you.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, when we don't have recycling anymore, we could use those dumpsters.
They were his metal dumpsters, but people fill them up with a lot of stuff. So,
Mr. Mayor, I think, is it true that Taylor Garbage has taken over the whole entire village now?
no, no. Hanbury is retiring, I think. So all the Hanbury customers are now Taylor customers.
Okay. Because I know I got garbage cans that need to be positioned on the street a certain way. But I noticed across the street there could be a problem because there's just the side the cars park on to put their garbage cans out. They won't be able to extend.
Guys, have you seen the garbage truck? It's awesome. It's got like this go-go gadget arm and it reaches over cars and it picks up the garbage cans and like dumps them in. It's great. You should watch it. Get up early.
It is pretty. It comes wicked early though. It's like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's pretty neat.
It's waiting to hit your car.
Yeah, it's pretty big and loud too. But,
Geez, I was just excited about my new garbage can.
Yeah.
Our negotiation committee met concerning the PBA negotiations. So it was our own internal me, Rusty and Laura and Nate. So that was a good time, like it always is. We reviewed the payment of bills. Big update I have. If anybody, I don't remember if I emailed it out. I don't think I did. Friday, late Friday, we got the official contract and paperwork for the DRI.
Yay!
So that is in process of being signed. Cindy was supposed to send it to Nate. Did she do that, Nate? Yep.
Yep, she sent it to me. My only comment back were basically, it looks pretty standard for the state's contract, and there's a lot of things that still need to be filled out in it. And Mayor, of course, when you sign it, you need to review it carefully to make sure that everything that's required of the village, meaning just your capabilities to use the software and report things and all that stuff, is understood and followed.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a big state contract. It's 100 pages long. So anyway, it said right in the front of it, said it could take up to 2 months to get all the signatures on it, but at least it's moving forward. So that's a huge thing. And the other thing, does anybody have any comments on that steamer agreement that we passed around and looked at?
No, I'm fine with it.
Question mark.
Guys, I would note that the project has the support of Annie Hyde Trust.
Okay, the steamer house thing.
The agreement we passed around was the
Yeah, I sent the other one out. Did we get you a copy of it? You didn't get you a copy. In a nutshell, the other.
Gavin, have any comment?
In a nutshell, the steamer agreement says we will let them use our property at 89 North Avenue, whatever the address is, that we now own, because we traded the land, and we'll let them build a steamer house on it, which the hose team will own and maintain, and we will supply electric to it via station number 2, and we will plow the sidewalk. Pat Gavin is on and can correct me where I went wrong on that synopsis of the agreement.
Well, Nate provided additional comment about a 180-day out
Yeah.
for the village to take, which we would object to. That wasn't part of the draft agreement that went around, but that was something Nate offered for consideration that we, the host team, would not be in favor of.
And I think the other thing, Pat, was the length of the agreement. The host team was considering 99 years, and I said maybe 5. And I think you came back with 25 years. And I mean, again, that'll be something that the board needs to consider.
Right.
Yeah, we threw in 99 in the draft with the village, as well as 99 for the use agreement with the fire department, just as a number. The fire department came down to 25 years, and we didn't object to that. So we're open to a lesser time frame that's agreeable to the board.
And the other thing that Nate wanted in there was that with 180 days notice, we could back out of the agreement, basically. And obviously, the host team is not agreeable to that. 'Cause obviously, they're going to build a building there. I guess it'd be kind of hard to back out of in 180 days, but just from their side of it.
I guess we would be open if the village would be willing to pay to move the building somewhere. If it came to that, we would be open to that. I don't see how that would be possible, but it's not in our interest to invest in upwards of $50,000 in a project to have either this board or future boards come back to us and say, okay, you have 180 days to vacate your building and we're going to tear it down. It just doesn't make sense to us.
I can see that side of it for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But, and then the same token, I can appreciate, Nate providing the village an out if it needed it, but again, it just, it doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah. That was something like a building anyway. It's physical. So I guess, does anybody have any discussion on this?
I didn't get to read the fire department agreement, and I did have further questions that I wanted to discuss with the village members, with our committee before we agree to anything for, making an agreement with the hose team.
And Laura, you raised that 2 weeks ago, and I sent you an email and asked you to provide your questions, which we would address.
Yeah, I need to talk with the people on the board first, and then we can discuss with the hose team.
So will that happen within the next 2 weeks? Is there a time frame for that discussion to take place? Rusty?
Pat, first, no one sent me the agreement, so I don't even have it. So I don't have a time frame necessarily, but I think that we should have that discussion and not have it, just as I said last meeting or whenever are we going to buy this or are we going to not? Well, there will come, it's not tonight, but there will be a time pretty quick here where are we going to make this agreement or are we not? But I'm not ready for it tonight. I don't want to tell you when it will absolutely be in 2 weeks because I don't have the control of it.
Are you not on the committee?
I am on the committee. But I don't have the control of telling you that we will have an answer in 2 weeks because the committee hasn't even had a meeting about it. All I'm saying is I'm not promise you that an answer will be there in 2 weeks. But I suspect an answer will be forthcoming pretty quickly. That may not be what you want to hear, but that's all I know.
So should we set a date for this committee to meet? So we can talk about this agreement?
We can do that. We can do it here.
Well, we keep saying we're gonna do it, but nothing ever happens.
Well, then we'll do
Like the PBA negotiations, we set a date,
it.
then it happens. So should we pick a date that we can meet?
Sure.
So we can talk about this agreement and then get this thing settled?
Pat?
Who is the committee? The trustees?
Pat?
Yeah, I think we picked before, it was Rusty, Laura, and me maybe.
Hey, Pat, are you there?
Yep.
We'll meet before the meeting 2 weeks from now. And try to
Fair
have
enough.
something, we'll try to have something for you. We'll try to have something for you that meeting.
So we'll meet sometime next week, so we have something for the 19th.
And if you guys can include me in that meeting, just so that, I can, if we have changes or revisions that we want to propose, I can be right there with you and understand what they are to make them directly.
All right. All right, so that's my steamer pitch. Get that straightened out by next meeting. I'll print the agreement for Rusty. And Laura, you got it via email, right? Everybody else got it by email, right? So you at least have copies of it. All right. Other than that, I don't have anything.
One more thing.
Rusty has some.
Nate, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Well, just in case there are any personal congratulations due for any personal stuff, I'm making one right now. Good job.
All right. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. And just for the rest of the board's edification, I told the mayor a little earlier today that my wife is now pregnant. She has been a little bit, of course. This isn't just, day one here, but we're expecting a baby girl and we're getting pretty excited.
Excellent.
I didn't know if it was public information, so congrats.
Well, I made that vague in case it wasn't.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you all.
Good job.
Our last thing, the phone's ringing. The last thing is public comment. Does
Well, I have
anybody
a
any?
question for you, Mayor.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Mayor. Have we appointed a group yet to look at the local law on our police department? That has to be finished by April 1st of this next year. Time is ticking away.
I know. I need to get on that. I've been talking to Chief about that, about all the timelines of stuff. So, yes. That's on my list of stuff to do.
I mean, I don't know if it should be somebody from the board that chairs the meetings. It shouldn't be the police department that chairs it.
Right. Yeah, no, it has to be a group of people, basically. So, yes, I have to do all that. Probably by the next meeting, too. We'll see. Hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
I have a whole book about what I'm supposed to do in the next.
What do you have to do? Foolishness.
Somebody's here.
Is it killer?
What?
All right. Any public comment? Oh, look who's here.
Michael Greenwich. How spells name? Right there. I can't.
Grinade.
You're just in
Want
time.
to do that?
All right.
I just came home and I didn't know whether it was you or I didn't know whether it was you. Left me a note and I thought, I'll go, and I called him to verify that he'd still take it.
We're in the middle of a meeting. You just wait. You just relax.
All right, so I would like to appoint Michael Greenidge, Associate Justice. There you go. Judge Bowling got in just in time before the meeting closed, literally.
Hey, the judge, huh?
All right. Does that need any votes, Nate? I don't think so, does it? No.
I believe it is the mayoral appointment. I have to pull up the local law real quick.
Okay.
You know, it was included in our annual meeting stuff, and so maybe we could just pretend like it's that and everybody vote on it real quick, just so we can get it out of the way.
It's a
Better safe than sorry.
Not a voting appointment.
And the judge approves of the, obviously he gave us the, yeah, he recommends the appointments.
That's okay.
All right. So do we have any other public comment? Anybody?
Anything more, Pat?
Nope. Well, the steamer goes to get fixed next Monday.
Great.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
All right. So I guess that's it, everybody.
Move to adjourn.
I second that.
All right. Everybody in favor? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Very good.